If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, takes a punt 8 yards deep in the end zone at Soldier Field and returns it 82 yards for an electrifying touchdown, it must be an Eagle, a Philadelphia Eagle wide receiver, Josh Huff out of Oregon, drafted by his former coach, Chip Kelly, impresses in his debut. The Eagles' first preseason game in an uninspiring 34-28 loss. However, Huff was one of several standout stars for the Eagles. There really wasn't much to talk about on defense. The Eagles really need to get their act together, giving up 34 points no matter who's in the game. I don't take much out of these preseason games. The main goal, don't get hurt. The first team offense was turning the ball over. Nick Foles had an uncharacteristic 2-interception night. I didn't like that they were both off his back foot. I look at them as not typical of Nick Foles. I don't think he was nervous. I just think Infinity Moma doesn't have the chemistry that him and Riley Cooper have. They'll have to get that together. So Foles should be okay. But something very promising developed last night, and that was Mark Sanchez coming off his injury from last year, looking impressive, leading the Eagles to 2 or 3 touchdown drives that were capped off with Matthew Tucker touchdowns. 2 touchdowns. He did have a fumble later on, but Matthew Tucker looked like a good replacement for the departing Bryce Brown, who now plays for the Buffalo Bills. So last night the Eagles defense was unimpressive. Of course, as in many preseason games, the teams don't show what they have. They don't do stunts, blitzes. They don't call the play that they would in any ordinary game situation. They don't want to show their cards. The same with offense, I would presume. The Eagles did move the ball. Just like last year, they didn't move quite as fast in the preseason because they want to shock that first team like they did in Washington last year on Monday Night Football. They don't want Jacksonville to know what hit them with this pace. So yes, the Eagles ran quick, but that's nothing compared to what you're going to see opening day in September against Jacksonville. So I'm sure Nick Foles will get it together. We've got a good backup quarterback, a legitimate starter in Mark Sanchez. Matt Barkley still the third teamer, but the big takeaway besides Zach Ertz, who was impressive with 4 catches for 60 yards, was Josh Huff. All the talk about Jordan Matthews being the darling of training camp. He had the dropsies last night, and Josh Huff out of Oregon one-upped his teammate who had an 80-yard kick return, I think, for Andy Reid and the Chiefs the other day. He got ducks all over the pond in the NFL returning kicks for touchdown. There is something in the water over there. It rains a lot in Seattle. In Oregon, ducks are thriving too. And now, the Philadelphia Eagles have their newest star to go along with the newly acquired Darren Sproles. Josh Huff. Look at it. Look at him. He's going to get the job done. 82 yards, electrifying touchdown. There's going to be more of that to come. Josh Huff.